You're tuned into Soul Fusion Cafe, your place for radiant wellness and soul-forward living. Join your host, Jess Juntunen, quantum healer, intuitive, and midwife to the awakening spirit, as we dive into quantum tools, wisdom teachings, and integrated healing pathways for transformation. You can live a life of freedom to be without limitation. Cozy up, grab your tea, and enjoy this hour of expansion, wisdom, and love. Namaste, hello, and welcome, dear beloved ones. This is Soul Fusion Cafe with your host, me, Jess. And I'm so grateful that you are here today, that we can have this moment to have this time out of time. This radio show and podcast is really about radiant wellness, soul-forward living, self-ascension, and how we can live our best life, right? That we can be here in form as human beings, but connected to our spiritual nature and authenticity so that we can really have the time of our lives, that we can access our mission and bring it forward into the world. And that's a little bit of today's show is going to be about that, like accessing our mission and our service and what it means to really do that. And if you have any need for clarity around that, some ways that you can start getting clarity, or if you need that inspiration, that hopefully this hour provides you inspiration to find your mission and what brings you joy, because it truly is that time for us to say yes to it. And when we live our mission, we are in joy. If you're having issues really feeling joy, and this is spiritual joy, it's a state of being I'm talking about, not just the temporary joy of the ego when we say, oh, goody, I got an extra $20 in tips today, or oh, goody, I didn't get a bill in the mail today, or oh, goody, I got a new boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and there's the ecstaticness, but it's more an emotional joy, right? Versus a spiritual joy, which is a state of being, and it's not, I don't know, it can be ecstatic, of course, but it's this sustained sense of feeling joy in every action, in every interaction, in all moments, that we could be in the joy of the divine that we are, and bringing that into our form, bringing that to our beautiful planet. What a beautiful thing. So we're going to be talking about our mission today, clarifying our mission, living our mission, being in joy. And we're also going to be talking about multidimensional living as part of that. We're going to talk about this beautiful seventh dimensional energy that's available and open for us right now. We're going to also talk about some of the energies that are happening right now on our beautiful planet. Whether you're tuning into this in the moment or sometime in the future, just know you're receiving exactly as you need to receive. So it's an exciting show today, and an exciting episode to just sit back and enjoy, really be with what is being shared here, and notice what resonates for you. And may you find an ever more deepening connection with your joy spark, with your mission. Truly, right now is a very remarkable time, and it's an important time to be thinking about, what is my mission? What is my drive? Because we're in this moment unlike any other of expansion. I can't even stress it enough or jump up and down enough that right now matters so much. Every choice we're making right now is affecting our future. It's always like that, but we right now, because the energy is pouring into our planet of upliftment, support, multidimensional space and guidance, the ability to manifest instantaneously. These things are here right now in a way that have not been available on this planet, this experience of Earth, like ever. It's really huge. So many things have happened. With the new moon in July, there was this beautiful creation portal. There was this moment of uh, expansion being birthed into the world. What we're creating, our dreams, our visions coming forward. There is so very much uh, building from that new moon as we went through really like a 4-day event that culminated on Wednesday, July 22nd. And that energy on July 22nd was actually the arrival. We arrived in the seventh dimension. We arrived in the gateway in the temple as the master. And from there, it's just expanding. We arrived with this divine feminine energy that opened up in an even more expansive way on the planet that's coming in to unify, to bring things into balance, to support us with the law of instantaneous manifestation. This is beyond the law of attraction. This law of attraction is still very 3D based, very density earth based way of looking at things that's very much in the energy of lack when most people are invoking the law of law of attraction, right? Because I don't have money, I need to manifest money, for example. I need to manifest the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the relationship, then I'll be happy, right? Instantaneous manifestation comes from our state of spiritual abundance, and things can happen instantaneously. It moves out of the realm of density and 3D into the fifth dimension. And the fifth dimension is here. It's very available and it's easier than ever to lift into the fifth dimension. Anchoring there is very important. And then we realize when we're in the fifth dimension, you can hang out there forever if you like, that it's beautiful, but there's so much more. We're being invited to lift even more up into the seventh dimensional experience. And there's energy beyond that that is supporting us, the ninth, the 33rd. There is so much energy. We are so loved. We are being so supported, but we must open our hearts and receive it. So July is carrying us through this completion of July, this last week of July, is gifting us a big experience in saying yes to ourselves, saying yes to our lives, and moving forward in this divine expansive energy of the divine feminine, unification, balance, harmony, and roaring flow, roaring abundance can be our way. And it carries us all the way into the beginning of August, all the way up till August 8th, when this energy peaks, this divine feminine, that the arrival that started July 22nd, when we arrived, was also the day that Neowise the comet was at its closest to planet Earth. And think about this, that this comet is going to come back in 6,800 years. So the last time it was here, 6,800 years ago, oh my goodness, that was a time where the divine feminine was the way of life. There was a balance and a harmony between the masculine and feminine, and the feminine was so honored. Oftentimes when we think of our history and how we are taught it, people more than a few thousand years ago were basically Neanderthals, and 6,800 years ago must have been cave people, right? They couldn't do anything. They were just rubbing, the dirt around with some sticks and didn't know how to do much. Like, at least that's like the perspective that was given to me as a child about anything that happened more than a few thousand years ago, really. And when you talk 6,800 years ago, but humans were doing amazing things at this time. We know this now. We know this if we are a student of history, and we're looking for it, right? There's so many examples of technologies and structures and what people were building and creating, and even finding things like bits of string. We know more and more as we look for it. There's evidence that people had communities and ritual and had so much wisdom. And I've had the honor and blessing to be with artifacts that are about that old. Um, some 5,000, some a little older when I was in Ecuador. Very rare artifacts that hardly a person has seen. I'm like one of like 14 people that has seen these artifacts because they have been cataloged away. They're not even out in a museum. They're stored away with many others, and they carry these cosmic keys. Um, there's so much there. There's representations too of alien cosmic life. I mean, things were happening back then that would blow away most people's minds. But the divine feminine ruled at that time. When we look at any art and what people were creating, there was so much about the divine feminine, the womb, creation, the breast, the belly, that there was this honoring that the woman carried the divine feminine, but also an understanding that the divine feminine was something to have reverent respect and love for. And so 6,800 years ago, that comet was seen by beings that were in that energy. And this comet coming back is like the burning bush, like, hey, look up in the sky. If you need a sign, here is a sign. Here is a sign for you. And it was at its closest on July 22nd, which also carried the energy of the 4 in ascended numerology and perfect balance. And the year 2020 carries the energy of 4 in the perfect balance. There are so many other numerological overlays. Try to say that 3 times fast. And it was really a profound moment, So wherever you were at, no, it was perfect, but if you can bring yourself back to what you were doing on Wednesday, July 22nd, what you were experiencing, and notice. And now, because this is a year of perfect balance, because the energy right now is one of balance and unification seeking us, everything is showing up that doesn't feel like that. So if you're feeling triggered, if you're feeling like there's things coming forward that are hard to look at or deal with, just to know that that's normal and that is your opportunity to smile and say, oh, thank you. Thank you for showing me you're there. And as we evolve consciously, we continuously refine ourselves until, we get to these other layers and nuances. So sometimes when there's an up level moment like the one we're going through so many up level moments in 2020. It's like these 2 years, 2020, 2021, major up level experiences. And this one we're going through right now, it can feel intense. Because whatever is out of balance is asking to be in balance, and the body is talking a lot, So if you're having body issues like physical pain or fatigue, those kind of things, then it's normal. And there's a whole lot of ascension symptoms right now that are very normal too. A lot of third eye related, so head congestion, headaches, vertigo, things like that are very common right now. Swelling feet, swelling body changing weight, body holding weight, body losing weight, all of it is totally normal right now. And perhaps we can discuss some of those ascension symptoms more in another episode. I definitely recommend going to Sri and Kira at YouTube and looking up ascension symptoms. They have several videos out. A bunch of new symptoms were released in the beginning of the year, and they are working on another one for the midpoint of the year. So maybe we can have a discussion about them because their ascension symptoms are so spot on. You might be able to find things about ascension symptoms elsewhere online, but most people are not getting the same depth of information that I feel comes from Sri and Kira. So I definitely recommend them to go learn more about it. But yeah, a lot of things happening, and anxiety is increasing and depression and mental health, concerns. It's so, I feel it, and I feel some of you having some of these concerns, and you just want to try to reassure you that by focusing on your level of consciousness, by focusing on your own ability to love yourself, to heal yourself, to channel divine light, that will offer you the greatest possibility and potentiality to lift. And talking with the body, talking with the mind. Hey, I'm here, I'm listening. What do you have to share with me? We must create safety, we must create reassurance for our body and mind. Our soul is soaring, it's going very quickly into these other realms, but the body takes longer. And if there's things that are hanging around that haven't been resolved, they're speaking out. And a lot of times they're speaking out through our body. Things can hang out in our mind for a long time, and then they start manifesting in our body if we haven't cleared them up. The body is the most dense part of our being, and it takes it a little longer to catch up sometimes. Sometimes you just need a glass of water and to really connect with yourself or do some spiritual practices to come back into balance. Sometimes it requires more concentrated effort and support. And if you truly feel like you would like extra support, I do work with clients one-on-one. There's so many brilliant also healers and light workers and counselors and therapists and many different opportunities for healing support. Find your healing support team and start getting some support if you have chronic illnesses or chronic limiting belief patterns or habits that you want to release. Get the support. Look for it. And I always offer a free, no strings attached discovery call, and take advantage of that. It could give you an idea if this work is for you or not, what I like to share. And there's just a lot of opportunity for support out there, whether it comes in the form of a book, listening to some uplifting podcasts, or finding a friend that really gets you and that is also working on consciously lifting themselves. We do want to try to eliminate partners in pain right now. Partners in pain are probably also wigging out. Partners in pain are those people that, the relationships we've often had and that maybe we're about to outgrow when we start to realize that, maybe this relationship, the majority of the time that we're talking is spent griping or complaining about life. Is very much a victim orientated viewpoint, that people have. And a lot of people are very steeped in their victim consciousness right now. Poor me. Why does everything happen to me? That limits you and stops your growth and expansion right away when that happens. And we all do it. Let's not be in denial. Denial is toxic. But be aware and notice when you're doing it, when you are feeling like a victim of circumstance, and smile at it, say thank you, and apply love and lift. The partners in pain love to have somebody to commiserate with. And I mean, I'm sure you're so familiar with this. It's kind of the fun game to play on Thanksgiving night with the family. A lot of families anyways, where someone's being the victim, maybe somebody's being the bad guy to the victim, maybe someone's being the rescuer. There's the victim triangle: perpetrator, victim, rescuer, goes round and round and round. So it's fascinating. And those partners in pain, they're probably ramping up right now, and it may be that time that you start looking at and releasing some of these connections, whether you let go of that person completely or not. I'm not saying what you need to or should do, but consider what your energy is feeling like when you spend time with them and when you don't. And really consider aligning your time with more beings that help support and uplift you in your life and your mission. And we are going to circle back around to divine mission. We're getting there. So like a lot of things happening now. And what else will prevent our lift is judgment, self-judgment, Judgment of others, really being aware of when we are in judgment. We must release judgment. It's a key step of self-ascension to release our judgments. And they're also showing up everywhere as we lift into the seventh dimension, because the seventh dimension is judgment free. There's no judgment at all in the seventh. The fifth is all about loving compassion. So, in order to enter the seventh, we first have to have that loving compassion for ourselves and others, and then we must release all judgment. We must release all judgment. And it's fascinating to be aware of how much is coming up. I can share a lot of that's going on for me. There's a lot of judgment flying around, and mostly of myself, but I also catch myself thinking things towards others. And to really just notice it and then smile and say, okay, not today, judgment. We're not doing that. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for alerting me that you're there. And really, judgment is so about our ego and its unmet needs, right? It's just, what do we need in that moment when we feel a judgment happening? What do we need? Is there something we need to let go of? Is there something we need to offer ourselves to feel safe, loved, seen? You know, because it comes from a place of pain. So we really must be understanding. Don't judge the judgment, right? Then we just get more layers. And I laugh because I've done that. Judge the judgment, judging myself for judging. Oh my goodness, what a conundrum. The ego gets very refined and sneaky also the more we work on ourselves. And that's one thing about the fifth dimension is the ego can still live there. It can still be attached there, it can still operate there. Because the fifth is close to the third, and because there has been erosion between the third and the fifth, the fourth is smashed right down on the third. And there's this erosion as people's, like the energy on the planetary energetic field, the thoughts and fears and all of that being dumped in by people is eroding the fifth dimension and it's becoming more unstable. That's why we have to really practice and learn how to anchor even more in the seventh, you know. So if you want to understand or know more about what I'm talking about, if it's not even familiar to you, but it's interesting, you know, to learn about multidimensional beingness, I have episodes in my archive at onenesstalkradio.com under Soul Fusion Cafe, and you can find all my past episodes on YouTube at Oneness Talk Radio, and excuse me, my archives at onenesstalkradio.com, not Soul Fusion Cafe, but Soul Fusion Cafe, you'll see the tab for it, and when you go to the show page, all the archives are right there. So I have a lot of shows where I talk about multidimensional living, and I also suggest my own mentors, Sri Ram Ka and Kira Ra, because their work is beyond compare, you know, and they really do an amazing job about talking about multidimensional presence and beingness. So there's some places to go if you are interested in more of that conversation. We are beings that exist in multi-dimensional space. We happen to have a human form here in the third dimension, but it gets a whole lot more fun when we lift and live in these other higher dimensions and we bring that energy into our body of form and gift the planet with it. And our mission is driven from that multidimensional self. It's the truth of who we are. So our mission and our service right now is being amplified. And again, right, we're moving towards 8/8, the Lion's Gate, when this divine feminine energy peaks and the whole rest of the year unfolds before us. So having an idea of what our service is is a really wonderful way to surf this energy and calling greater joy into our lives and to really live in that joy energy and the roaring flow that's available all the time. But we have to be able to connect to these other aspects of ourself that, you know, if the ego's running the show, it's not going to be that good of a time if you want to have other experiences. If you want to be totally in density, then have fun and do it well. There's no wrong. But my guess is because you're here and listening that you probably would enjoy uh, living a more lifted, authentic presence in alignment with your soul, the essence of who you are, and your multidimensional beingness. So, I'm just taking a few breaths because I'm just really feeling almost a little swirly, and that's common with these energies right now. But if you're feeling swirly, just as I'm connecting with you, even though I'm coming to you, this is pre-recorded, uh, I can connect with everyone that's going to be connecting with this show. And I do feel like a swirling vortex almost feeling for some of you. Hand to heart, hand on your head, and breathe. Bringing that into balance. There you go. Beautiful. So, your mission, your purpose. Oh my goodness. Your soul came here to be born at this time. You wanted to be born so that you would experience this time on this beloved, beautiful planet of form. You chose to come in as a divine being and creator. You chose to be a master in form, or you wouldn't be listening to this right now. You want that. It's at your inner level to be able to express who you really are in this world, because things really get fun when we do that. Things really do get fun when we do that. So if you don't have clarity, though, I'm hearing this from some, like, what's my mission? What am I doing? It's very simple to connect to your soul. Maybe it's so simple that we think it must be harder. But taking a few breaths and connecting to your heart. So, feel your beautiful heart center. Breathing with your heart center. Allow yourself to take some time here. So, beautiful. Feel yourself smiling. Gently smiling, connecting to your beautiful heart. I am spirit and form. My gifts are realized as they are shared. I am spirit and form. My gifts are realized as I share. The service that I bring to the world is. And feel what comes forward first and trust that. Whew, I felt so many of you just say, yes, I felt my gift of service. It's that simple. And if you didn't get it, just spend some time connecting with your heart and really feeling into that energy. Again, I am master in form. My gifts are realized as they are shared. And connect with the way I serve the world is. And bring that forward. That's your mission, whatever you're doing. If you're a healer, if you're a lawyer, if you are a public service worker, if you are it doesn't matter, whatever, those are just labels anyways. Whatever you are doing in life, though, you bring your service to it. And if you feel like it's time for a transition in what you do in your life and how you bring your service to the world, now's a beautiful time to dream on that. Now really dial up all the color on your dreams and your visions for what you could create in the world with the power of your mission and service. And really, I invite you to start considering multidimensional presence and how that plays into your life and connecting with it, because it's a very, very rich time for that. So do your thing. Be your service in action. Bring it into the world. What is the gift you are offering the world? And that's what drives everything you do. It drives your work in the world, your relationships, everything. That gets to be the gift you bring the world. You and your energy matter so much. And as you hold open the portal of your awakened presence, you invite 100,000 others to do the same. They're able to shift into their higher awareness and presence. So if there's ever a time to say yes to yourself, it's now, because the world needs us to say yes and share our gifts and for others to awaken and share theirs. Imagine this world when all beings are sharing the gifts of their soul, their multidimensional beingness, their presence with the world. This world is changing. It is a shift, and we are the change we seek to see in the world. We possess the keys. We within know our wisdom and know our worth and know our truth and bring that to this beautiful world. So keep on doing that. Keep on thriving. Roar in August. And if you haven't joined Women Wellness Awakenings Global, that starts on 8/8 the Lionsgate, please get over there and check it out. The discounts end at the end of July 31. So you really want to go over there and check out Women Wellness Awakenings Global. It's an initiative by myself and Sri Ram Ka and Master Lady Kira Ra. The Trinity of us are championing this whole community of light and love in the divine feminine that's coming forward. We begin on 8/8, 4 Saturdays, 4 journeys, a whole month of beautiful support in this energy of August, a tribe, a community of beings that are coming together and saying, yes, it's about women, it's about wellness, it's about awakenings, but it's also for everybody. The woman within all, the divine feminine within all. It does not matter if you are man, woman, non-binary. It does not matter what gender you are. We all have the divine feminine within. And this is for all beings. And I would pray that men would join that want to connect with their divine feminine essence and champion women and champion the divine feminine on our planet. That's how it's meant to be. What a beautiful world we are creating. So Women Wellness Awakenings Global is a global movement to support the divine feminine coming back into balance, to support unification, to support instantaneous manifestation. So please check that out. The discounts are amazing. There are free gifts. wwaglobal.com. I will put that link in the comments as well. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you so much for being here. I am sending you so much love and so many blessings. Have a radiant, beautiful day. Namaste. You've been listening to Soul Fusion Cafe with Jess Juntunen. Connect with Jess and learn more at her inspiration hub, selfascensionstudios.com, and over on Instagram at JoyLoveJess and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio, or over at Facebook at Self Ascension Studios and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio. Thank you for listening. See you next week. Namaste and many blessings. I'm Jess Juntunen, and you're tuned into Oneness Talk Radio. One world, one voice. Expand your vision.